Okay. All right. Peace and blessings. This is Brother Shareef and Ptah Shakur with the Hour of Power. Um I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds here for my brother to come on and give his intro. Until then, want to give a shout out to Pecan Tree Restaurant at 287 West Market Street. They're open 11 to 9, 7 days a week. That's Pecan Tree Restaurant. Delicious food there. Open from 11 to 9, 7 days a week. Yes, on Sunday they are open. So we want to patronize them and give them, the business and support that they deserve. So without no further ado, my brother Ptah has some wise words for you. I'll open up with our universal prayer, and then we'll get into this much anticipated interview with our good brother here, Mr. Glover.
You kicked at me? Oh, I'm sorry. Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Ptah Shakur here, just sharing with this Wisdom Wednesday. This is the Hour of Power program. This is going out live over White Rose Community Television Channel 16, as well as it's going out on Facebook as well. So we're going to always, like we always do, we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to send this out to all of the friends of the program. Make sure that this wonderful, impactful program going out. It's going out to you, Peace Elohim. I already sent it out to all my followers. They were on Facebook. They shouldn't have told me how to do that at followers. So that's coming out to all of y'all right now. Like always, this Hour Power program, this is a community-based program. So if you have any type of entrepreneurial experiences that you want to share with the family, if we would definitely want to hear from youth, we would like to hear the greatness of our youth. We hear so much about our youth and the different things that go wrong within their lives. However, we want to hear about whether they go off to college, whether they go into different entrepreneurial aspects as well. And we want to have diverse conversations, even past conversations, individuals with different sides of the political forum or different types of mentalities. We believe that in order for us to grow together, we got to be comfortable enough to have discourse or dialogue in a respectful way, and so we can continue to understand each other's perspectives, so we can continue to grow as individuals. So I'm a Reiki practitioner, entrepreneur, channel, spiritual guide, and the whole purpose of what this program and anything that you ever see this beautiful face on is promoting but love, light, education, motivation for all those that want to better themselves. And hence, go moving into that, we have a wonderful guest. And like our brother Shareef shared, this is a highly anticipated program. This wonderful individual that has impacted so many lives of youth in the community. And as you can see on the back of the screen there, right there in the York Daily Record, I believe it should be in the newspaper as well. However, this is the online edition. Actually has a wonderful article on this wonderful individual that has now taken the place to, which I'll let him kind of speak to that a little bit. But without further ado, I'll kick it to our wonderful guest, Kerry Glover. Wonderful for you to be on the Hour of Power. Just share a little bit about yourself, and then we can get into a wonderful little conversation.
I'm just happy to be here, man. Just recently, a week ago, was voted in by the York City School Board, approved by the school board to be the new varsity boys head coach for the York High Bearcats. So I'm just excited, to get in the gym, get things rocking and rolling, get prepared for the season.
How what kind of were the steps leading up to you getting the position? Because I know it's been a road to get there. How did your name kind of first come up that you know
of? Honestly, just my coaching ties, so to say. I coach AAU basketball, co-president of the York Ballers AAU program, and while I was obviously still doing things here back here in York in the community, little sports clinics and personal training and things of that nature. So when the position came open after Coach Gallen had stepped down, after last year, just having the opportunity to be able to come back home was something that piqued my interest, and so it was something that I just went after.
Okay. All right. And we're gonna jump. I'm gonna jump right in it, and Brother Ptah has some questions for you. What are your expectations for this season coming up? And that's a loaded question because you ain't get your feet wet yet. As far as at York High, but what's your expectations?
To compete. Like, for me, I have confidence in myself, the work that I put in to perfect my craft, and it's the same expectations that I give my players. I'm not looking to come in and I'm not looking for any excuses. I'm not one to make any excuses. I could get around the guys, the players, and say everybody else had a full off season. We're just now getting started, and it's the end of September. When the season kicks off, the beginning of December, as far as games, nobody cares. Nobody's going to spot us 15, 20 points. They're not going to let us win the first quarter because they feel sorry. It's still York High. It's still York City School District. We still have a target on our backs in terms of from the competition, and that's how it should be. I don't want anything easy. I don't want anything given to me. We're going to get out there. We're going to earn it. And we're going to do it the right way. Represent the program in the district and the city to the best of our ability, and make sure that we're conducting ourselves appropriately while doing so.
Okay.
Beautiful. And also, I just want to remind everybody, this is a live call-in program. You can see the number on the bottom of the scroll right there. The call-in number is 717-846. 5067 as well. We're going to be paying attention to the Facebook comments as well. We got individuals kind of lining up. Peace to James Freely, jumped on the comment on there as well. But I wanted to ask you about your past success, and if you can kind of explain to those who may not be familiar with you there. And I believe is it Columbia? Is that a high school?
Yeah, Columbia High School.
So tell us a little bit about your experience in there. I believe you won the districts or the championship, and then I got a follow-up question off of that.
Yeah. So my coaching journey, it's been quite some time. I'm 40, so I'm not, but I started coaching early. I started coaching in the Vonnie Grimes Winter League when I was in high school still.
Yes, sir.
Back then the rules were if you played varsity basketball, you couldn't play in the youth league, even though it was your age group. So my brother, my friends, my boys, they were playing there. So for me to still be around them, once I got done my practice, I went there and I started coaching the 8 to 10-year-old division. And I was like 16 years old. So just having fun, still being around. And from there, I kind of that's where my passion started. With coaching, and so from there I went from that to coaching York Ballers. That was my first stop. It was coaching York Ballers at that time.
This is youth still?
This was AAU program.
Gotcha.
So that we went from 10 years old up to 17 years old.
Yes, sir.
So I started coaching that the York Ballers back in its heyday when like AAU was everything. It wasn't anybody could start a program. Anybody could play. Like you had to be the best of the best. Not just in York, but from Central PA, period. And there were only a few programs in the area. And, York Ballers was and still is the premier program in our area. But back then it was, like York Ballers here. You had a really good program out of the Harrisburg area. But it wasn't like how it is nowadays. There may be 20 to 30 different AAU programs just in York County alone. So, and things grow and develop over time, so that's to be expected. But back then it was different. You go into the gyms, we traveled to Ohio, LeBron James Invitational when he first got drafted. We're going up to Philly, Chester, Jameer Nelson Classic, things of those nature. And you see these high profile players, and that's where I was really able to hone my skills as a coach.
Yes, sir.
Going in some of these environments, it wasn't Swookie Nook didn't exist. It was all inner city facilities, and the families, the fans, everything was hectic. and but you learn how to deal with any type of situation,
Gotcha.
being coaching in that environment. So from there, I obviously with the New York Ballers, and I went to Boys Club, BYC Raiders, was coaching there for forever. I loved that program. I ended up becoming the president of the program for some years, running that program, and then that transitioned me into junior high school basketball for York High. About, I'll say, 11 years ago, I was doing that. So I was there for 2 years, and then I had went to Redland High School as the JV coach there, and I spent 1 year there. And then the next year I had received the job at Columbia, and I spent the last 8 seasons over at Columbia, still running the AAU program in the spring and the summer. But as far as from a school basketball standpoint, varsity basketball, I spent the last 8 years at Columbia. Had a amazing time there. That community is something special. Very passionate. Very supportive. The businesses, everybody over there, the local government, everybody. I was able to. I matured there as a coach. AAU environment and things is one thing, but the school ball and dealing with officials, some may like you, some may not like your program, may not like your town or your city, and learning how to navigate through all of that. Dealing with small numbers, small school. We only compete in 3A classification.
Okay.
So
That's one of my questions.
yeah. So just being able to navigate through that helped me mature as a coach. And I was fortunate. Had some really good players, and had an amazing coaching staff over there. So I was fortunate to. In the last couple of years, went to 3 district title games, and we won 2 of them.
Okay.
So we had some fun.
It's succession, pretty much.
Yeah, we won in 2022, and then we lost the semifinals to get to the title game in 2023, and then 2024 we won it again.
That's a nice run.
Yeah, so it was fun. We had some fun, and just being able to get to the Giant Center. Just me being younger, me and my brother and my friends, we used to always go up and watch our York High teams in years past, as the players came through our Boys Club program, and once we seen those guys get to the varsity level and go up there and make their district runs, all we said was, man, we gonna get here one day. Like that was a goal. That was always a goal.
Yeah.
And to see that happen. My first district title appearance, I was COVID season, so there were no games at the Giant Center. So I wish I could have had that back, but we lost about 4 or 5 points to a very good, very well coached Lancaster Catholic team. But the next 2 trips to the Giant Center, the district title game was at the Giant Center, and we won both of them. So I say to myself, if I can get to the Giant Center, I'll win.
I got a quick question for you. If you don't mind, are you able to reveal who your coaching staff is going to be, or you haven't got that far yet?
So it's still in the works. It's still in the works. But I plan on, once everything is finalized on that, you guys you'll see it on Facebook. Still working on some local guys, bringing on some young guys, recent graduates like a Kerry Generette, one of my former players with AAU and everything, and recent graduate. Believe Kerry was class of 2018, I want to say. But he's went to school, went to Kutztown, played there, received his education, and came back, and he's in the district teaching now. So just having a young guy like that who's been through the process recently, just adding him on staff, having a connection. He's in the trenches on a daily basis in the schools teaching, so the kids can kind of connect with him from a different aspect. And for me, that's what it's about. I was blessed to be connected to some really good coaches like Rodney Washington and Kirk Smallwood and Gary Sutton, and having those guys to be able to call and lean on, Rob Cooper, those guys, whether it was AAU or the school side of it, being able to have giants like that I could call up at a moment's notice and get some advice from. was huge. So I'm from that era, but for me, it's not. It's never been about what I can do. It's who can I inspire. So being able to bring those young guys on board and give them an opportunity. Rob Cooper was the first guy that I coached for. With him and Coach Papo Carmelo, and with the Raiders, and then my second year as the head coach at Columbia, Rob Cooper's son Elijah Cooper became my JV coach, and he stayed there with me the last 7 years, and now he's taken over that program, and he's the varsity head coach. So that's what it's about. You reach one, you teach one.
Sure.
All right.
For sure. And even like you was mentioning as far as being able, I know it got to be a beautiful feeling to see like the young ones that you started with, and then you see the growth in their eyes as well, and then reaching the heights that you have. Do you have any like a story? They say give me a challenging time where you kind of was trying to motivate or in your experience, particularly say like in Columbia, you know, that run that you had. What was a challenge, or well, just give us like a positive story, maybe something from behind the scenes, or something that you seen that kind of bring a smile to your heart.
I mean, when you say that, the first thing that comes to mind is, my run at Columbia was a special run. Before I got the job, the year prior, I think they were a 6 or a 7 win team, and my first year we went, I believe it was 18-6 overall. We made the districts, made to the states first year, and it was like boom, Columbia's basketball again, rich tradition. Very, very prideful place, and they know their basketball. So when that happened, it was like Columbia basketball is back. And some high expectations, because for me, I'm like, year one, if you guys thought this was something, wait until these guys really understand it. Because for a new coach coming in and you're basically doing a full revamp of a program, me personally, I think that it takes 1 to 2 years to kind of lay the foundation and you water the soil and then you watch it grow. But some situations have a lot of returning experienced players, and you can come in and you can win right away. And sometimes the thing that's even better is you can come in and get everybody to buy in, whether they had a lot of experience or not, and you get full commitment and full buy-in, and that leads to the wins. And that's what happened at Columbia. We didn't have a lot of returning guys, but they all bought in, and we worked our tails off. And so obviously that type of success during year one, it gave us some high expectations for year two, and we were off to a great start. And then due to some academic issues, I lost my best 2 players after the 7th game of the season for the rest of the year. Okay. And they both were averaging about 19, 20 points. And it stunk. That was the only time there that we missed playoffs. And for me, I felt embarrassed. I felt like I let them down. And I was still learning all of the ins and outs of being a varsity coach.
Yes, sir.
And so it was different things that I had to learn through that process that I vowed to not allow it to happen again.
Yes, sir.
So I get grade reports on a weekly basis and things of that nature. But since that moment, I go into the schools. I go in, I sit in lunch periods, I pop in classes, sit in the back of the classrooms. I want to be on top of it and say, hey, I'm here. If I'm here for you, you need to be here for yourself. So, with that second season hurt, but the shining moment in that was those guys that I lost for the rest of that year, when they bought into the connection, and we were able to connect to where they dropped out of school. Okay. And didn't return the rest of that school year. So we're talking mid-December as seniors. But me being able to stay connected to them and continue to stay in touch and just work with them, even when people might have given up on them.
Yes, sir.
And it's a small town. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows what's going on with you. So it's like you walk in the grocery store, you walk into wherever. Is this person talking about me? Are they looking at me strange? It can weigh you down, especially as a young minority man. We're already facing enough. So, with that, I was able to stay connected with those guys and help them gather the courage to go back to school the following year. And when I saw them, I had AAU. I didn't care what I had. I canceled it, and I went to go see those guys walk that stage. For me, that was that meant more to me than winning the district championships at the Giant Center.
You already answered my next question. As you know, Brother Ptah knows, there's no secret that city children, city athletes kind of get a bad rap. You already unsaid what you're going to do to try to reverse that and make them be effective going in a classroom, which is powerful, being there with them at lunch period. That's what I do with my job. Of course, I'm not no basketball coach, but most of the time they just need someone to know that they care about them, and it's not just but get me some buckets. You know what I mean? You're putting in the time with them. Anything else you plan on doing to kind of reverse that negative stigma? And do you see it that way, that we have a stigma with us?
Yeah, it's easy to see. Even the last 8 years while I was over at Columbia, any nights that we had off or we practiced early and there were games, I would always pop up to a couple of the games at York High a season, just because again some of those guys play AAU for me and it's home. So seeing that and watching some games on film, seeing the relationships between officials and opposing fans and what have you. It's just it comes with the territory. One, a lot of times we know what we have, and we are powerful. We are special. Our student athletes are special, and sometimes the best way to defeat them is by beating them mentally. So or emotionally. And it's something that I always preach to my players. I always talk about emotional intelligence. You have to understand the situation, take it for what it's worth. Not saying I just had this talk because I had a meeting today with anybody from 9th through 12th grade who's interested in playing basketball this year. Had them come directly to the auditorium after school today, just so I can talk to them. And one of the things that I said was, I am here to win, make no mistake about it. But we want to do it the correct way. Like, my goal is no technical fouls, no player ejections, no talking back to the officials. Because it can happen. They're teenagers. They might have a moment. But that moment is magnified twice as much when it's our players or your Kai players than what it may be for others. Is that fair? No. Is it right? No. But what is fair? Right. It's 2024. I'm not going to sit here and complain about what's fair. Hey, we control what we control. Right. Focus on that. I tell my guys that all the time. Just control the controllables. If you control the controllables and you work hard and you do your work early, 9 times out of 10 things fall in they happen to fall in line and it's in your favor. And I tell them, hey, if you trust yourselves, I say this before we break out of every pregame huddle, before the opening tip off, trust yourselves, trust your teammates, and trust your coaches. And I'm not going to guarantee a win, but I'll say we will have an opportunity to win at the end of the game. And as young student athletes, that's all you can ask for.
Well said. I kind of want to speak to that idea, like you said, that run of that dynasty. I follow different sports and things of that nature. Like growing up, I like the Buffalo Bills. They got to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and they didn't make it. However, the question is that once you reach that height, and then does that complacency kind of like fit into like that following year, or say like that. I believe you said like your third year. Was it more difficult to get everybody going that fourth year going in, or was it like one mind mentality where everybody was already kind of locked in as they say? Or you feel me?
Yeah. So for me, I like to say I'm a player's coach.
Okay.
So everything that I've done the last 8 years in Colombia was based off of the players, not just from a skill standpoint, but their personalities.
Okay.
So I ran a different offense and I did different activities every single year. Sometimes, we might be just going through. It's long. It's a long season, and how the PIAA schedule has been in recent years. There may be weeks where we might have 4 games in 6 days, so it's not a lot of time for practice. You can't, guys, they're kids. They're thinking about homework. They're thinking about their home lives, whether it's good or bad, girlfriends, everything. So with that, it's okay. What can I do differently to help these guys stay mentally sharp? So sometimes we come in. I walk in the gym. Guys come in. They're getting undressed and they're expecting to practice, and we just have a big game of dodgeball, or order pizzas and we sit down and we just talk. Bring in a yoga instructor. We do some yoga just to kind of relax their minds and their bodies, and do things differently. That way, it's just a different approach. Because again, my expectations are my expectations. Like I don't get complacent because I don't want my players to get complacent. So when they see me, they know. They get on huddle to see the film. They see coaches watch 5 to 7 games. I just told the guys today, every team that we play, I study 5 to 7 games. I don't care if it's a team that we haven't lost to in 8 years. I'm still studying the same as a team who we might not have beaten in 8 years.
Yes, sir.
Like every opponent is going to get the same type of attention to detail from me. They're going to get the same respect from me, but I also want the same outcome, and that's for my program to win.
Beautiful, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like that over here as far as that complacency. We tell the youth as far as that, your comfortability.
Yeah.
Comfortability is one of the greatest addictions, but constantly break that mode, and that's what happens in sports.
Yes.
Is you get comfortable, you rest on your laurels, as they say, and then you get caught flat-footed on some trap game type stuff. But to keep that continuous, I see how you kind of move the ball around. You got a feeling or a pulse of what's going on, and kind of throwing some versatility.
Got to stay humble, stay hungry, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a Kobe fanatic.
Deep.
That's my GOAT. Mm-hmm. Always will be.
Enough said.
You love Kobe, you can't get complacent.
He was different.
You can't get that Mamba mentality. You can't get complacent. You won't allow
it. Please call in, even if it's just to give a shout out to our brother. We are proud of him, and a lot of people in the community are proud. And I must say, I haven't seen this kind of hype. Much respect to our past coaches, but call in 717-846-5067 717-846-5067 if you have any questions or just want to give a word of encouragement to our brother here.
I'm just going to read off just a little bit. This is a word of encouragement that is being put into the Facebook. We got Wink Thomas said, congrats, we appreciate you. Appreciate the love here. James Freeland got Manuel Gomez says, peace. Wayne Sweeney, yes sir, says, Coach K in the building, got the man for the job on deck, getting the culture right, more than just a coach. So we got individuals, eyeballs out there, and they're jumping on there. And
appreciate y'all. Thank you, man.
Giving the love and respect to you, because we greatly appreciate you for that. You got, and like I said, like Shareef said, it's a live call-in, so you can feel free to call in 717-846-5067. We're going to be going into 9 o'clock on this particular White Rose Community Television. We may go a little bit longer for those that are on the Facebook there. But I wanted to ask you real quick, because like I was saying about that complacency, we said about uncomfortable, you'll die in your comfort zone. And so to get that culture, and that I had a little foray with youth when I was a youth education director, being being the scorekeeper and the coach and the player coach and the referee and doing all that. And one thing that I found is some of the young men who predominantly grow up in single parent households, as far as handling, like you said, that emotional intelligence. And having that stick to itness, and kind of like that emotional outburst. So if you could kind of speak to that, any type of resistances to that, and then also even with the parents as well. You kind of painted a great story when you talk about your AAU. You got your everybody, all the people in the stands thinking they coaches too, kind of sharing different things. So what's your I guess put it into a form of a question. What's for the younger youth, say like 7 to 10 years old, what's something that you would recommend for all the coaches or the would-be coaches out there as far as how to deal with young men in expressing their emotions and getting them kind of dialed in to how the game is supposed to be played the right way?
Yeah. My first thing I would say is patience. Like that's like if you don't have any patience, especially dealing with players at that age, that stage, like if you don't have patience, you're probably gonna tap out at some point. And tapping out doesn't mean you quit and you don't show up. You could show up, but just not be engaged, not be there mentally. And one thing that I've seen over these 20 plus years coaching basketball is I've seen situations where people are still coaching, whether it's male or female coaches, young or old, and they may have a tough situation where they just feel like it's enough, but they also don't want to not show up to be there for the kids, but they checked out mentally. And sometimes that's just as bad as or worse sometimes than not showing up. Because they're not getting anything out of it, and we may not want to be replaced. So instead of having somebody else come in and take over what we as coaches felt that we built, we stay. And even though we're drained, we're not giving them what they require, what they deserve. Right. And then the end result, you see it at the end. You see the emotions spill out on the court. You see a coach and parent get into an argument during the game, things of that nature. So I just always try to stay patient, try to be understanding of everybody's situation, but also reminding them of our common goal. Why are we here? And for me, you're not always going to see eye to eye. Players, coaches, parents, coaches, players, and parents. You're not always going to see eye to eye. Like the coaches and the players are the ones who are there at practice, twice a week for youth league and 6 days a week for school ball. So they understand what the game plan is. Even I don't even want to just say the casual sports fan, because York High is a place where produced some really, really, really talented basketball players throughout its history, and some really good coaches have coached there throughout its history. But they're not. I don't even want to say they're not in the daily practices and understanding or knowing what the scheme and the game plan is for this current situation. I coach basketball. I'm always around the game. I'm constantly studying the game, watching girls basketball, boys basketball, young, old, college, pros. Before I came here, I was just watching one of the playoff games that just started.
Some good stuff, man.
Yeah, but
get on board.
As much as I'm around it, when I go to games, I just like to sit and observe. I don't like to critique, because even though I know the game, I don't know what that coach's game plan is. So I can say whatever I want, but that's still not fully capturing the whole picture, because I'm not there on a daily basis. So you two guys could be talking to your players, hey, this is what we're jamming every ball screen. We don't want to allow this big man to open up and roll to the basket. This guard comes off a ball screen, we're trapping him immediately. We want to get the ball out of his hands, trapping him, forcing him to the sideline. And for me, as could be in the stands yelling, "Hey, why don't you guys just switch on the screen? You're making it difficult." And then players get confused because I may be your point guard's dad. I may be your center's uncle or cousin or whoever, and they see you guys every day, but at the end of the day, dad is dad. They hear my voice. Sooner or later, they're going to do something that is in response to what I yelled out, and I don't know what the game plan is. So that's where things become difficult, and that's every football, basketball. It's with a lot of sports. We yell. So as a coach, I know the type of respect that I would want, so I give that to other coaches, and I just sit back and I observe, and I say, oh well, if I see the situation, then I know this. I may do that exact same thing because I think it works if the player responds quickly. If the player responds a little bit faster, that works. They were told to do the right thing. Or I may say, hey, some of that looked good, but I may make this small tweak, this small adjustment, because that's all coaching is. You see something, you go back, you study it, you analyze it, you break it down, you apply it to what you have. All of it may not work because you may have a different cast of players, but you find something that works, and then we just build on top of each other. So that's just how I am. I try to stay back, and so dealing with young, those youth players, that having that patience, having that that resolve, but also making sure that you keeping the main thing. It goes a long way.
Yes, sir. I have a quick question for you, a little shifting gears a little bit. I don't know how much say you have in this, so to say, but is there any way you guys can renew the rivalry with York Catholic?
So I don't know. It's like when I was younger, that was a big game.
Man,
that was a big game.
It's like
when
rock
I was
stars,
a kid,
man.
my family played in that, and having the luxury of being at my pop-pop's house and having who's Groundhog, Derek Wilson, G-Hog, and Kassan Jenkins, two of the all-time greats from our area. Those guys were the best of friends, and coming up underneath of those guys and watching them, seeing them as kids, and watching Blaine Claiborne and all those guys and the York High greats. And over the years, it kind of died down.
Yeah.
One reason being, which I know as a coach, is the PIAA going to 6 classifications. And York High being 6A, York Catholic, now they were 2A and they're now 3A. Well, they were 2A and they went to 3A, and I think now they're back down to 2A. So a lot of coaches over, not just in those 2 schools, but all over Central PA period, it started to become a strategy game. Because if you're 2A and his team is 4A and I'm 6A, even though our makeup or history might make for a better game for the fans, playing his team makes sense when it comes down to the end of the season, because beating them may be the bump that I need to make it to district playoffs. A lot of people don't understand that criteria, and sometimes it may be a 4A school who may only end the season with 6 or 7 wins, and you may be a 2A school, and if you're ending the season with 17, 18 wins, it made more sense that we played each other, because if we play each other and I win, every win you get helps my points. It helps me continue to boost up. So it's just been a strategy game. I know that's a big reason why bigger schools and smaller schools stop playing. As to why they haven't played recently over the last however many years, decade plus, I don't have an answer to that. I know they aren't on the schedule, but for me, anybody that knows me knows I'll play anybody, anywhere, any place. If we can figure it out, then let's make it happen for the kids. I think
for the city.
I think having those, bringing some of those games back, it can be some fun. some fun and definitely worth it. So again, anything that makes sense, I'm all for it. Like, I love to compete.
You shared a really tying idea when you mentioned Kobe Bryant, because I was just sharing with somebody the other day as far as what Kobe would do. He would take, he would use everything for motivational purpose. For one, he would understand that failure is part of success,
Right.
like for real.
Right.
And so he would always go back and find that jewel, as you said, or find that nugget of beauty and actually improve upon that. What kind of coaching style in that? What kind of coaching style? What kind of comp would you say from any coaches you know going, or even be like NBA coaches or college coaches? Do you have a comp as far as with your style? Are you one of them like a Bobby? Nah, I won't say Bobby Knight. But like kicking. Oh, before you say that, shout out to KP. Rest in power, Keenan
Yes,
Preston as well,
Yes,
because
sir.
he was such a motivator for all of us. And so I think about his demeanor when it was coaching. I guess you had coaches growing up, and you maybe kind of see like a personality. Like I would see myself more of a KP type of guy. But what kind of style, if you have a style, would be? You a kicking the trash can kind of guy, or
Nah.
or you just, you know what I mean?
So it's funny that you said that, because talking to the players yesterday and today, meeting them, I told them, I said, my goals for the season is to win the section, to win districts, and to win states. That's my goal every single year, whether I have a lot of upperclassmen or a lot of underclassmen. But I also told them my goal is to make sure that no player receives a technical foul, and for myself. And I said, you want to know why? Because that's something that I take pride in.
I got you.
My 8 years as the varsity head coach, I didn't receive one technical foul. So I take pride in that, because again, we're already in certain situations, especially when the crowd is yelling, and you see some calls being made or not being made that is just blatantly ignored. And it takes everything in me to not. Inside, I'm going off, but I know I can't lose control if I want my players to keep their composure. Because they're going to follow their leader. So it's not saying that I get loud. I get fired up, but I know how to do that and still keep it to a level of where there's still some type of respect. Because once you lose the officials' respect, they're not going to want to hear you again. It could be the smallest thing that you're trying to get an explanation on, and you won't get it. So I don't want anything like that to happen. But for my style, honestly, when it comes to coaching, I'm the same person that I am on a daily basis.
I got you.
I'm calm, I'm laid back, I'm reserved, and I'm very strategic.
Okay.
So again, there are situations where I have to yell, I have to be loud. But 9 times out of 10, this is what I tell my players: if you ever see me yelling, it's because of the environment. It's because of, I feel like when I'm yelling, my voice isn't carrying enough in this gym, how the walls are or how the ceiling is. So I have to be a little bit louder so I can make sure you can hear me over the cheerleaders, the opposing team, and our fans and their fans. So 9 times out of 10, when I'm yelling, it's because of that. I'm not a person to get in my player's face and I'll pull you to the side and I'm going to let you know everything that I need you to know with no restraint. But I don't have to yell that out loud and embarrass a kid.
Yes, sir.
There's the emotional intelligence I talk about. There's a way to do it, and every coach is different. One of my coaching somebody on my coaching Mount Rushmore.
I was going to ask you about that too.
Rodney Washington.
Okay.
Rodney Washington is going to tell you about you, about your mom, your dad, and everybody else. He's going to tell the opposing coach about himself during the game. God rest his soul. I miss him dearly, man. That's my guy. But he held no punches, and anybody that knows Coach Rod knows that. And even though he may be on my Mount Rushmore, it's that side of me that I don't have.
I got you.
But I've learned so much from him. So I like to say I have the calm, strategic approach of a Coach K. I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan. I'm a Coach K fanatic when it comes to coaching.
That's respect. That's
Yeah, when it comes to coaching, I would say, as far as at the professional level, I would say Phil Jackson
Okay.
was
Player
somebody
coach.
who I admired growing up. I love Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
Every year I wish that he would get another
He's
opportunity.
the one that got the Splash Brothers started.
Yeah,
We know about that.
just watching him and watching his the way he reaches those guys. That those are, as far as from a professional level, that I would probably say those are the two, Mark Jackson and Phil Jackson, that I would say probably I studied the most. But I studied no coach the way I studied Coach K. He's been retired for several years now, and I still watch old Duke games. Like, it's just so much to learn.
He was USA basketball.
Yeah,
They call him in.
Yeah, he's just one of the brightest basketball minds.
I got a quick question for you. This is going to be a loaded question, but I know you can handle it. If you could come up with a all-time York County dream team, who would they be? 5, 7 players, which is very hard to do, but I know you can handle it.
York County dream team of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, man.
Mhm.
I'm not one to shy away. So I would say, and I'm a positionless basketball kind of coach. So
Okay.
I'm not going, these are my two guards, these are my forwards, this
Right.
is my center.
It's
I'm
just
just going with 5 players that
made
that,
a lot
that,
of impact.
that
yeah.
made impact that I love to watch. So I would say I have to start with Kassan Jenkins. I have to.
Hands down.
There's no doubt about it.
Mhm.
There's no doubt about it. Cenk is like a smooth. He was like a smooth Grant Hill. Like,
Mhm.
there's nobody
That could play multiple positions.
Could do everything.
Mhm.
And like, at the end of the night, you're like, what happened? Like, can't stop this guy. We threw everything at him. Can't stop him. So I would definitely say Cenk. Oh man, I'm trying to think. It's been, whew, that's tough, man. I would say Cenk. I would probably say, there's guys that I saw, but I didn't really understand the game, so I can't go back too far. I just want to speak of, like, I respect the old, the older guys, the York High greats that I might have saw, but when I'm 8, 9, 10 years old, I'm running around and just happy to be in an environment, not understanding the game. So I'll say Cenk. I'll say Sam Sutton. I'll say
Shout out to Sam.
Extremely athletic.
Yeah. I'll say Sam Sutton. I would have to say, I'm trying to think, because that's a lot, man. That's a lot of guys. Like, I'm thinking about so many different guys that, and I don't want to disregard some of the younger ones.
Right.
When you're talking about just a monster rebounder, a rim protector, I would have to probably go with like a Malik Jenneret, who obviously went to school, played football, but every team needs that size and that interior toughness. Everything else is easy. I'm just thinking about Sam and Cenk, and having somebody like Malik cleaning up any of their misses or protecting the rim so those guys can get after it. I would probably say,
You got people in the comments got some words, but I'll let you get it out.
yeah. It's a lot, man, because I can think of so many guys. It's hard to narrow that down.
Right.
Because I'm thinking of Emiko Sweeney. I'm thinking of Shanda Shields. I'm thinking of Brandon the
Brandon
Shields.
yeah.
I'm thinking
That's family
of
right there.
like I'm thinking of
Take
Party
it.
Lopez.
Take it way back. Weeble wobble.
Yeah, Weeble Wobble. Like those were
Stevie Orr. Yeah.
and like seeing guys like that. It's tough. I would say my point guard would probably be Party Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Having Party to out there to set the dinner table for those guys, and those guys running the wing, having Malik and Shane the Shields along with Jank and Sutton. I mean, you did say 5 to 7, so I gotta throw some other guys in there, man. But it's tough. It's tough, man, because you think about some fantastic players that came from Central. I mean, Kennerdale has some players over the years that was like they came into the city and handled business. Like you're thinking about some of the West York greats. It's tough. It's tough to really do that. Like for me, it probably would have to be a conversation that would go by decades. Like who's your top 5 from this decade?
Right.
Because those are the ones that no doubt in any decade I'm pulling those guys.
You know who put it down that a lot of people maybe don't remember because it was a while ago, but not before Stevie Orr. They called him Chooch from Dallastown. He was dropping 50 like it wasn't nothing. Yeah, Juan Kleins. His dad was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
He could jump out the gym, and he was dropping 50 for Dallastown back in the 80s like it wasn't nothing. Yeah, so if anyone remembers him,
You said Juan Klein.
Juan Kleins, yeah, but they called him Chooch. He used to drop 50 like it wasn't nothing, and could jump out the gym. And talking about jumping out the gym, how about my brother? He always sends me a message. Hawkins.
Who's Hawkins?
Yeah, he used to play for the High. Yeah, he could really jump out the gym too.
Yeah, I mean we had. I mean you just think about, and that's what I want to bring back. Like no, and there's no slight to any schools, anybody else from around the county, but what we had at York High over the years.
Mike Hawkins is his name.
Mike Hawkins. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mike Hawkins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just having those, like I wanna help develop and produce guys that go into those all-time great conversations. You had the Kelvin Parker and all of those guys. Like KP was one that I used to call him Joe Johnson as a kid growing up. Like he was just so smooth, so laid back, a silent assassin. Could score from all 3 levels, go up and dunk on you, shoot the tray ball, like the whole 9. Like those, it's just it's so difficult when you start thinking about that. But I want to help add to that.
York has a lot to be proud of.
Yes, yes.
And you're just adding on to the legacy, my brother. Like I said, I haven't seen this kind of. I ain't trying to pump your head up, but it's almost like a Deion Sanders kind of effect with you coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so much hype, and I think what you think about this? I think the what I call the urban sprawl has evened out. Everyone used to be scared of York High, but with different players coming from Maryland and Philly, and now people, back in the day because I got a couple of years on both of you young brothers. Everyone, all the talent was mostly at York High. We were feared. Now with people going out to Central, wasn't no black players at Central and Dallastown and Redline. Now it's nothing to go there, and it's more diversity, which has spread out the the talent, which is good, but no one's not scared of York High anymore. I hope you can bring that fear factor back.
And it's funny that you say that, because that was a part of the conversation that I had with the players today in the auditorium. I said, listen, I want to bring back that feeling of the old York High days with obviously my own personal touch on it. the days where teams were trembling, shaking, getting off the bus when they had to walk into the school. You know, where they knew it was going to be a jam-packed gym. It was going to be loud, and you were going to see some of the best basketball,
Right.
some of the best pressure, some of the best athletes that you'll ever see. I told him, I said, I want to bring back where every home game, that entire balcony has to be opened up. That's the days that I remember.
Yes.
That's the days that I was there for. And it's been quite some time. But I want that to be the norm. It should be the norm.
Right.
And obviously over the years, our some of our athletes, our players, our parents, and our families have moved out of the city.
The urban sprawl.
For whatever reason. But I want to be one of the change agents to help turn that around.
I have that feeling about you,
and
brother.
make Yurkai back to the premier program, the premier, everybody wanting to stay home and not leave and be here. And even if they want to move in 5-10 years down the road, whatever it may be, I want this. I want to be. I don't want basketball to be the only reason, because at the end of the day, there's only 12 spots on varsity. There's 12 spots on JV. But I want it to be one of the things that they consider when they say there's a good sports program: basketball, football, baseball, track, volleyball, and the school. Everything is together. Everything is, everybody's worked in unison to bring that school district back. And again, I don't want basketball to be the only reason, but I'm also not going to be blind to the fact that a lot of moves, a lot of decisions and things that parents make for their children do revolve around sports. So I'll be like, I won't deny that. So I know it's not the only reason, but it is and it can be a major reason of why parents move in or out. If I'm a parent and my son goes to Timbuktu High School and he's 6'3", 6'4" as an 8th grader and athletic and has a love for baseball or football or basketball, whatever it may be, and I look at this program and they haven't won anything in the last 10, 15 years, it's like, okay, I don't know if we can stay here. I might have to go over here to wherever, and we might have to relocate because I want my son to have an opportunity to excel at what he loves. Yeah. It's no different than if my son had a love for chemistry or arts and designs, and I say, hey, I want to send him to this school because they have this extracurricular activities or these programs in the school that can help him further his love and his passion for graphic arts and design. So I may send him to a technical school. I may send him to York Tech or whatever that may be. That's life. That happens because the basketball stops bouncing. The football stops being thrown. You stop catching it at some point. And what are you falling back on? So, those are decisions that led to people moving out of the city or moving into the city and what have you. But I just want to help be a change agent to make people say they got some things going on, because you are going to see us. You are going to see us outside the basketball court. Right. You are going to see us at food drives. You are going to see us cleaning up Penn Park, cleaning up our neighborhood, taking care of what's ours, and putting some pride back in the community from the players who expect the community to come out and support them. So when you see things like that happen, and if we were just out there and used to guys as my coaches just had me cleaning up Penn Park, what's the chances of me leaving my trash there later on tonight when I'm playing ball? Probably not going to do it. I'm going to take a little bit more pride into what is considered mine. It's ours. It's our park. These are our streets. And, it takes us to be able to do different things to gain them back.
And those young players that represent your car, the younger kids on the K through 8s, they look up at like superstars at them. So them being them
Yes.
positive role models in the community, that helps, build and, like you say, raise the whole city up. But I did want to jump in. This is a live program. We're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. So anybody who's watching on the White Rose Community Television, we're going to kind of zonk out. Please stay tuned next Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I kind of kicked off right there, a little bit slow on it, the jaw. But we're going to keep going just a tad little bit longer. We got wonderful participation on the
Call in.
Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, please call in 717-846-5067. So the first thing, I found out about you taking this position, of course you got a lot of congratulations, and I kind of put on there, okay, what can we do as the community? What can we do to make your job easier, to make the team's job easier? What's something you could say out there to everybody who's paying attention right now to make this thing kind of gel together, if there's anything?
Come to the games.
Okay.
Come to the games. Come to the games. I can promise you I am not going to disappoint. My players are not going to disappoint. I will not put out a product that's embarrassing to the city of York. I won't do it. There's too many greats that stood on that sideline that I'm coaching behind, that I can't allow that to happen.
Yes, sir.
And even before them, myself, I have high expectations of myself. So, the thing that I would say is come out to the games and keep these kids encouraged, because it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
The coach name may be in articles and what
Right.
have, but that's a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it's about the kids. And I've always, you can look at my district championship photos at the Giant Center. I'm standing behind every kid. You can barely see my face. Like it's about them.
Right.
And I want these student athletes to be supported no matter what. We're not going to win every game. We could win the first 10 games in a row and lose game 11, and there'll be some type of credit. I'm okay with that. But encourage the kids.
Right.
I'm 40 years old. Trust me, I'm not going to be hurt.
You got thick skin. Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. I've been doing this for long enough, and I've been through enough in my life. But for these young men, it's important to build them up. That's all I care about. Mm-hmm. I want those guys to be in the articles. Like, I'm going to do my hardest to say, hey, I appreciate it, but these are the guys you need to talk to. And I know sometimes as the coach I have to talk to reporters, but I want it to be about them. So I would say, for the community to come out and support these guys, come to the games, even road games, travel. One thing about York High fans is York High fans travel, but we got some road games this year. We need to travel a little heavier.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing that.
And hold the players accountable. Hold the players accountable. I don't want to be the person to get a phone call from somebody in the community saying, "Hey, I saw A, B, and C out 11:30, 12 o'clock last night," because my response is going to be, "Did you pull him to the side and say something to him? Hey, man, like I'm not saying you're doing anything that you wrong, but it's late. Ain't nothing out this time of night but trouble. And if you're out here at this time of night long enough, so many times, trouble's going to end up finding you. You might just be making a run to the store or wherever, but you're a student athlete. You need to be home, man. Hold these guys accountable so they know you care about them more than just on the basketball court."
Yes, sir.
And for me, that's big, because I know I am the guy that I'll see him like, "Hey, what's up, young buck? What you doing, man? You all right? You staying out of trouble?" And they look at me funny, because that's not normal for them to hear. Most adults see them, see them doing something they probably shouldn't be doing, let it happen, and then talk about them later.
Right. That chaps me.
That's pointless, and
that's the elder to youth gap. It's been going on for a long
time. Stop being
time.
afraid of these youth. You see something,
hold
say
these,
something.
please hold these young guys accountable.
Yeah.
The same way that you hold coaches accountable when they lose ball games.
Right.
Hold these young guys accountable, and you'll see more wins. You'll see guys staying on top of their grades and staying out of trouble and staying committed to the program. A lot of it comes from the coaches and the coaching, but when you have that unison of coaches, teachers, administrators, community supporters, and family members all in on the same page, standing in the same as a unified front for these student athletes, you will see the best, and you'll see your Kai back at the top of the mountain, and everybody faring the Bearcats, because that's what I'm there to bring back.
Yeah, that's very crucial. Quick question for you: are you an advocate of two-sport athlete?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, I think it's honestly, I mean, there's very, very rarely growing up where the guys that only played one sport. Some of our best, when you think about it, Emiko Sweeney, like some of those guys that were the best, some of the best to come out of your Kai, they played multiple sports. So seeing that,
not every coach is an advocate of it. That's why I asked you.
Yeah. For me, I say this: I was hired to coach basketball. I'm hired as the varsity boys basketball coach. So with that being said, that's my job. But I'm also not here to take away from any other sport. I wouldn't do that because I'm a parent. And as a parent, this is something I say to players, and again, I'm coming from Columbia, where last year we had 17 kids in the program, and all but 3 of those 17 kids in our entire high school program played football. So I didn't get to do anything in the fall and the off season. I was having workouts and weightlifting with just 3 kids, September, October, and November until the season started. So obviously I wanted to see guys, but I respected it was football season. And I tell them, hey, I'm a parent. I'm not here to control anybody's kids. I had no part, nothing to do with your creation. If you want to play another sport, I'm okay with that. Only thing that I ask is when it's our time, it's our time. When it's basketball season, even if you're a quarterback, you want to continue to work on your arm and go throwing it, do that. But you shouldn't be missing it. You shouldn't be late to basketball practice, and you shouldn't miss basketball practice. That's the difference. And some of that comes from just inconsistency. Some kids skip one thing and they say they didn't feel good or whatever, and then you see everybody has social media, you see them on social media and they're somewhere doing something else. It's like, hey, you had practice. Or we had X, Y, and Z. Like, why weren't you there? Oh, and then in the back of my mind, I'm like, he has no idea I saw him on social media. I just want to see if he's being honest to me. That's things that I did to players over the years. And you just give them that opportunity to be transparent, and some of them do, some of them don't. So for me, you'll never hear me tell a kid what they cannot do, because that isn't my child. That's not my kid. I support you whatever you do, whether it's any sport, baseball, track, football, soccer, whatever it may be. I support you. But when it comes time for basketball, when you're here, you're in my presence, I need you mentally to be here and not preoccupied with something else. If I get that, you won't have any issues from me.
All right. That's fair. That's more than fair.
Well, as we begin to kind of wrap up a little bit, I do want to make mention that wonderful support, like I said on Facebook. Fred Walker just said, let us know how we can help sponsor the team and the players as well. You have the full support of us, all of us there in the community. And then also, if you could say where they can find season ticket information. I guess it's simple to just go on the website. Type of thing.
So as far as the support, I went to the Peak Entry yesterday, and talked to the owners there, and different things that I want to do is take our players to our community businesses and support those businesses. Okay. So the first official day of the season is November 15th for all winter sports. So I talked to them yesterday about bringing the team down for a team meal after one of the opening practices, so we can just have that bonding time off the court. So if there's so Fred, I appreciate that. I appreciate you always. Always been genuine. And if there's any assistance with that, or I know there's other restaurants and other businesses that may be able to assist us with a team meal. It's their business. It's how they take care of their family and their bills. So I'm not expecting anything to be for free. If that happens through someone, then that's great. If a restaurant wants to do that. But if not, anybody looking to help out, helping sponsor a team meal, or things like that, just any team activities. It may be me taking the guys to a jump park or something like that, a boat to the bowling alley. If anybody wants to sponsor a team bowling night, things of that nature, just so we're behind the 8 ball, and I'm creative, and I'm going to do any and everything that I can do to help us catch up. And the biggest thing is building that chemistry, that brotherhood. So anything like that, it will definitely be welcome. As far as season tickets, that's handled through the athletics department. I'm not sure if they have them available yet, but they will be. And if you guys follow our page, York High Basketball on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see anything pertaining to our basketball season. It'll be posted on there. We'll post things on there. Just started posting some from our first workout from last night. Follow those pages on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to see information about our scrimmages, our season schedule, season tickets, the cost, who to contact for, and when to go buy them.
Mad support to the girls team with your brother
that's
too.
We both vibed up on that. Cause
Yes.
we talking about the WNBA. I've been following youth girl basketball even when I was in high school. I used to go to the girl games. It was very not too many people up in there, but I've always been a supporter of that. And so NBA and all that, we also would definitely want to support the girls game.
Definitely want to support the girls.
Very competitive stuff.
What they've been doing over the last several seasons has been amazing. It's been an amazing transformation, and they're not done yet. They can continue to overlook those Lady Bearcats if they want to, but they're far from done. I'm in the awkward position of being a new guy on the block, so I feel like a kid again. Obviously, my brother leads that program, and I'm older than him by 2 minutes, and we haven't argued or fought for quite some time, and we already had our first interaction figuring out practice times. So it's all fun. It's all fun. Just him and I, some brotherly love, going back and forth with that. But I'm looking forward to having our boys program at the girls games when we're off, and being able to support them and continue to have their backs.
Winding up, brother. Who's the GOAT in the NBA?
I think you already know my answer, man. I already spoke on that. There's in my eyes.
MJ?
Nah.
LeBron?
Nah.
Who? Kobe.
Nobody
Yeah.
like the Mamba. To me, there's nobody like the Mamba.
What sets him apart, even though MJ has 6 rings and multiple MVPs?
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously there's always there's LeBron, there's Jordan, and the older fans love Jordan. Jordan was amazing. You'll never hear me take anything away from Jordan. To me, I just say Kobe. Like I'm a fan of skill. I'm a fan of skill, and I believe that Kobe was the most skilled player ever in terms of just skill. He wasn't as athletic as Jordan. Couldn't jump as high, as far, and he wasn't an athlete that you could find your nose at. But when it comes down to skill and his approach, his desire, his will, and obviously those are some things that, in his style of play, or some things that have him the very close comparisons of Jordan, and we know how their relationship was. He loved Jordan. Jordan loved him. That was their thing. But for me, I think Kobe, Mike was the better athlete, but I think Kobe was more skilled. And also, I was born in '83, so I had the opportunity of seeing Jordan win his rings in the '90s and everything. But that was me being a fan of the game at that stage. I'm 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. I'm a fan. I'm still running around in and out, seeing some of the game, running upstairs, getting snacks. When I became a student of the game, a fanatic of the game, it was Kobe's prime. So for me, it was before Kobe. My favorite player was Grant Hill. Kobe pushed him to number 2. I love Grant Hill. Grant Hill was did it for me. Before Grant Hill, it was Dominique Wilkins. So while Jordan was going through his thing, I was always arguing with my friends about Dominique. So
If it wasn't for injury, Grant Hill would have showed out even more.
Yeah. So that those three. When I'm talking about my all-time favorites, it would be Kobe, Grant Hill, Dominique, Shaq, and then at the point guard spot, I'm taking Kyrie Irving. That's my guy. That's my guy. I love him. I love his skill. I love everything he stands for. So those are that too. So my coach, my GOAT, anybody I gotten into millions of arguments about it. Anybody that knows me,
no one is really wrong.
Yeah.
What about Kareem?
It's all subjective. It's all subjective. What you were exposed to, what time of your life was it, how deep you were into the game, and who did it for you during that time when they were in their prime, at their highest point. And for me, that comes down to Kobe and only Kobe.
And the game is changing, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the U.S. Olympic, even when a U.S. team was playing South Sudan.
Yeah.
Basketball is in Africa now.
Yeah. Yeah.
South Sudan, not even the whole Sudan came over.
It wasn't like that first dream team where they just was running over everyone. They got a ball.
As far as
the game is global.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
The
I love seeing the jerseys of you can't pronounce the names. You know what I mean? I love all that. Yeah.
Well, brother, thank you so much.
I just want to kind of mention real quick that Fred did kind of popped in there. He did say, done first meal on 4 Squares York at Pecan Tree. Tell them to send me the bill. So
okay.
I believe,
Thank you, Fred. That was Fred. Yeah, so, 4 Squares. That's Fred. Fred doing big things for the community.
Definitely.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea about supporting businesses in the city.
Yeah.
You got Skillets to Plate up the street.
Skillets to Plate. Local barbershops. Some barbers. I'll be in touch.
Definitely. The brothers want to be edged up. That's a big thing for their age.
Opening night, I want to be able to take the whole team to a shop and have 1 or 2 barbers lace everybody up, making sure you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Yep, no doubt about that. Well, I hope this isn't the last time. Maybe, I know as the season goes on, you're going to be super busy, but maybe we can sneak you in to get a mid-season report or something like that. Whatever you can do, we'll make it happen for you. And thank you so much for coming on this platform.
Yeah, definitely.
And so to kind of close this all out, this is the Hour of Power broadcast. This happens every single Wednesday from 8 p.m. until 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going on the White Rose Community Television. This is going out to Facebook. Later on, it's going out into YouTube as well. This is a community program. We want to hear from our youth. If you have a youth out there that has any type of entrepreneurial, if they're going off to the Army, they're going in the military, we want to celebrate our youth. We want those positive stories. We all need positivity in this day and time. You might not get it on your devices, but here we want to make sure that we give love, light, education, and motivation. If you got any businesses or if anything that you are doing community-wise, art, we have a myriad of different programs. Guests that's been on this show that all have the common theme of highlighting the talent and skills that we have in this community. So we thank our wonderful guest, Kerry Glover, as well. But kind of closing on out, we ask everybody out there to find your peace on earth. If you were looking to change your life and for the better, if you don't have, we have a saying here: you show me the 5 closest people to you, your success team will dictate your future. So if you're actually looking to change your life and better your life, you might need to break away from some of those individuals that are kind of holding you back. And hence, reach out to us. We'll get you in contact with individuals that are all about love, light, education, and motivation as well. So find that heaven on earth. Even if you got to go take a walk, go out in nature in this wonderful time. We believe this is a very, very powerful, energetic time where we all can kind of tap into the divinity. So when you find that heaven on earth, we promise you'll get in contact with the God divine that's within. And when you do get in contact with the God divine within, share a little bit of that love and that little bit of that energy. Everybody in your periphery. If you're over the age of 30, you got something to say to these youth. Stop being scared of them. We all got to give each one, teach one. And so with that, this is Ptah Shakur signing off at the Hour of Power. Love and light to you all.